We mentioned this yesterday about Trump's tax cuts and the buybacks. Here is a tweet from Paul Ryan talking about how wonderful the tax reform has been. Wait, did you get video? Okay, yeah, here it is.
I also got to spend time with local businesses in Wisconsin last week, learning about how the tax reform law is making them better and making them much more competitive. It's really something. These small businesses told me that tax reform is enabling them to increase capital investments in their people.
Now, pause it for 1 second. I just want to say, I own a small business, and my small business cannot talk because it's not a human being. But apparently, he's just talking to small businesses.
Maybe now all of a sudden we understand this.
And this
guy
is going to
and
be,
his condition.
Remember, this
He's
is the guy who
literally
lied
talking
about
to-
the paper bag story, about the poor child that he met with the paper bag, who wanted a paper bag, brown bag lunch instead of getting a school lunch because that means that mom cares about me.
You don't have no ice cream because your
enabling
father
them
is
to
down
increase capital investments in their people and their equipment and their training. I've talked to many business leaders, small businesses, who are now, confident that they can go take a risk and expand employees, expand operations.
Pause it. I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, that if there is no demand for your product, then you do not go and spend money on it. I'm not going, I mean, that's just, continue.
Giving bonuses, giving raises, adding to the benefits. This is what we are seeing all over the country. Wages for hardworking Americans are increasing and paychecks are getting bigger. And this is all thanks to tax reform. And people are actually noticing it. A new survey last week revealed that confidence among small business owners has hit a record high driven by tax reform. A New York Times poll showed that the majority of Americans now support tax reform. 51% of Americans now approve of the new tax reform law. It's up from 37% in November because I think you saw a lot of the rhetoric that was flying around here in November is not meeting the reality that people are actually seeing in their own paychecks. This is heartening. The American people's confidence in our economy is coming back, and rightly so. Tax reform is growing our economy. It is creating opportunities, and it's helping hardworking Americans the most.
And how is it doing that? In the fourth quarter, according to the New York Times, American companies' investment in things like factories and business equipment grew by 6.8%, fastest growth rate since 2014. 2014.
And that was a completely different ballgame back then. We were in a sort of Cuban-style command and control structure under Obama.
That's right.
So how did that happen?
In 2014, we were 6 years out from the Great Recession. Now we're 8 years out. But it's far from the giant surge in capital spending that was promised ahead of the tax overhaul. Can you imagine that? Huh. But I wonder where all that money went. Almost 100 American corporations have trumpeted such plans in the past. Can anybody guess what kind of plans that is? Why, yes, you can. They've announced more than $178 billion in planned stock buybacks. It is the largest amount unveiled in a single quarter. Not since 2014, not since 2010, not since 2005, or not since 1999. In fact, it's the largest single buyback announcement in a quarter in the history of buybacks being legal from the time that Ronald Reagan decided to take what otherwise used to be known as stock manipulation and make it legal so that board of directors and CEOs could enrich themselves by driving up the value of their stocks by buying it back with corporation money. And this is a problem we've talked about on this program quite a bit. Go back. Maybe we need to bring him back on again soon. William Lazonick, Much of our wealth inequality is a function of a couple of things, according to Bill Lazonick. One being taxing investment money at a lower rate than money you actually work for. And two being allowing board of directors and CEOs to pay themselves in massive stock options because it's favored treatment under our tax structure, and then allowing them to buy back all these stocks, increasing the value of the stocks they hold. They are running a little cottage industry. It's not a small business. It's quite a big one. But it's not the business that they ostensibly are running. That's their day job. But where they make their real money is on the stock buybacks.
Well, I would just like to apologize to Eddie Munster for all the people degrading you right now by comparing you to Paul Ryan. That is not fair. You are a delightful half werewolf, half vampire child. You deserve better.